this little piece of flesh can turn a devil from this to this. Yeah, as we saw in episode 6 of Chainsaw Man, just a tiny piece of the Gun Devil's flesh made the Eternity Devil the incredibly broken powerhouse that we are currently seeing. How does this tiny bit of flesh make such an enormous difference when it comes to a devil's power? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about that, and by the end of the video, you will have a full understanding of what the Gun Devil's flesh is and what it does. So just before we get into that, if you guys enjoy Chainsaw Man content, then honestly, there is absolutely nowhere else you have to be, because I post Chainsaw Man content on this page every single week. So you definitely want to be subscribed with notifications on so you can get consistent Chainsaw Man content on your YouTube feed each and every week. So a good place to start here is, where does this Gun Devil flesh come from? Well, it seems kind of self-explanatory in the name, right? That this is flesh that comes from the Gun Devil. Well, how did this flesh get scattered around the world in the first place? Well, this can all be traced back to the first and only known appearance of the Gun Devil that we currently know of. That is to say that I won't be going into manga spoilers throughout this entire video, so you don't have to worry about getting spoiled here. And also, it doesn't really leave out much information about the Gun Devil flesh in general, so really you're going to know all there really is to know, with only being a current anime watcher. But as I was saying, tracing back to the only known appearance of the Gun Devil so far, as told by Makima herself, 13 years ago, there was a time when the whole world tried to cash in on guns as a countermeasure against devils. During that period, gun use in crimes and civil revolts increased. Every country's media ended up covering gun violence news heavily. And just when fear of guns had risen around the world, there was a big attack involving guns in America. That same day, the Gun Devil appeared, and amazingly, in about 5 minutes, the Gun Devil killed almost 1.2 million people and then fell off the face of the earth. And to this day, it has not been seen since. I think the anime did a very good job of portraying this insane powerhouse that is the Gun Devil when they show Aki's flashback. But I think the manga actually does an even better job here, because it specifically lists out which countries it hit, for how long, and how many people were killed in that individual country. It's actually pretty insane to see. But without going on a tangent here, essentially the Gun Devil had moved so fast, attacking so many countries in that 5 minutes, that its insane speed burnt off pieces of its flesh and scattered them around wherever he traveled. These are the pieces of Gun Devil flesh that we see in the anime and that we see that the main cast is trying to collect. And the reason that they are trying to collect these Gun Devil pieces of flesh is because when enough Gun Devil flesh is joined together, they act as some sort of magnet that will try to merge itself with more pieces of the Gun Devil's flesh, or the Gun Devil himself, if there is enough Gun Devil flesh gathered all together. That's why Denji and the rest are on a hunt currently to collect Gun Devil flesh, because their hopes is that if they collect enough, the giant allotment of Gun Devil flesh that they come up with will lead them straight to the main body of the Gun Devil. Well, at this point, it seems pretty straightforward, right? You know, collect all the pieces that are scattered around, merge them together, and that way they can go directly to the Gun Devil and defeat him, right? Well, there's a very big crinkle here, because these pieces of Gun Devil flesh aren't just laying around waiting to be found. Many of them have actually been ingested by devils themselves, and as we see with the Eternity Devil, when any devil ingests a piece of the Gun Devil's flesh, they get an exponential boost in their power. It hasn't been clearly stated whether it makes a larger difference for a, let's say, weaker devil to ingest a large portion of the Gun Devil's flesh, or if a stronger devil ingests a smaller piece of the flesh, which one becomes more powerful? I guess the root of this question is, does this bonus in Gun Devil flesh power add on top of what that devil currently has in terms of power, or if it makes it grow exponentially, if it multiplies it? Regardless though, there is no denying that even a small portion of the Gun Devil's flesh can produce some seriously devastating results. And this effect that the Gun Devil's flesh has on devils is very similar to what a devil gains when it ingests more and more blood. Because as we all know, when a devil ingests more blood, it becomes more and more powerful. Well, think of Gun Devil flesh as kind of a concentrated portion of blood that can generate more power than ingesting even hundreds of humans. But this also begs the question, is this incredible exponential growth in power only exclusive to devils that consume these bits of gun devil flesh, or could fiends and people like Denji also benefit from the gun devil's power? Well, unfortunately, there is no known instance or justification that there is to kind of support the idea that, Denji or power can have their abilities exponentially grown through ingesting the gun devil flesh. But that also doesn't exclude the possibility of it being something that could actually happen. I mean, just imagine Denji ingesting a piece of the gun devil's flesh and becoming this insanely powerful chainsaw devil that can pull out larger chainsaw blades, probably fight for much longer than Denji currently can, and enhance his already superhuman strength. The same thing goes for power. If she were able to gain power from ingesting gun devil flesh, she'd probably be able to turn her own blood into more devastating weapons and actually utilize the blood of others to do attacks and make other weapons when she currently can't do that right now. I mean, in theory, these bits of flesh could be used on people like Denji and power, right? But I guess really the only main argument against that is that seeing how devils are exclusively the only beings who are literally the embodiment of fears and have the fear of others as a power source, where how this isn't the case with people like Denji or power, the power that the gun devil flesh has might be rooted in fear itself. Seeing as how the gun devil is this ultra powerful being that is heavily feared by humanity, each piece of his flesh contains power that is charged by that fear. Therefore, only beings that are created from fear and gain their power sources from the fear of humans can actually utilize this gun devil flesh's power, because it's like, saying filling a gas tank with gasoline. Whereas with fiends and whatever Denji is, it would be like putting gasoline in a diesel engine or something. It just isn't compatible. That's really the only explanation I can come up with that kind of goes against the idea that Denji and other fiends not being able to utilize the power of the gun devil flesh. So in a short summary, it's yet to be seen how much of the gun devil's flesh needs to be gathered for it to finally make its way to the main body. But seeing the insane amount of power that the gun devil has and the insane amount of power that it grants others by consuming tiny bits of his flesh, I cannot wait to see the insanity that is going to unfold once they finally find him.